Welcome to Truth Uncompromised. I am your host, Rhonda. Join us every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Truth is peace. Truth is justice and freedom to love, live, and be. Music provided by SourceVibrations.com. I am love. I am peace. I am free. I have abundance. I have everything within me. For I was, for I am, for I always be. We are love. We are peace. We are free. We have abundance. We have everything within us. For we are, for we will always be. For Mother Earth is love. For Mother Earth has peace. For Mother Earth is free. For Mother Earth has abundance. For Mother Earth has everything within her. For she was, for she is, for she will always be. And so it is spoken. So it has been written, and it is done.
You have entered into a dimension of truth, where time does not exist and illusions are shattered. The journey of truth is intense. The journey of truth will set you free. Consider this a warning as you enter the dimension of truth uncompromised. All right, family. Welcome to Truth Uncompromised. I am your host, Rhonda, and tonight we have a great show planned for you. We are continuing our series, The Lands of the Giants, Part 9. Last week, we once again got into where the author was talking about his journey. This book was written it was published in 1865 from a guy out of England who went over to Africa / the Middle East to retrace some of the events in the Bible And through his journey, he also talks about how giants were roaming those particular lands, and how the children of Israel conquered the giants and inhabited their land. So last week, interestingly enough, as we were kind of going through the material, we started running across some of the locations and some of the names that kind of rang a bell with us. So, it to us appeared that a lot of those names were associated with fallen angels. So we started just doing a little light research rather down that aspect, and sure enough, a lot of those names were tying back to the fallen angels. So we're going to pick up this week not only with the material, and the source of main material for the show is the giant cities of Bashan. We're going to continue with that material, and then also get into some of the giants' names. I did pull the list that Brother Sean was talking about last week of the 200 fallen angels' names, and I was kind of scanning through some of them and their description of what their specialty was, and just really, really in awe. So we're going to pick back up a little bit of that this week. I do have some follow-up items for the family as well. So with that said, I will bring on my co-hosts. I see Brother Sean and Sis Sandra. Let me bring on Brother Sean. Peace and love, brother. How are you?
Wholeness and power, sis. I'm well. How are you?
I'm well. Good to hear your voice.
Likewise.
All right. Let me bring on Sis Sandra. Peace and love, sis. How are you?
Peace and love to you, Rhonda, and Brother Sean, and to the family. I'm doing well. Thank you very much. If I can keep my ration, I'll be all right.
Okay. Good to hear your voice, sis.
Thank you. Good to hear you as well.
Okay, and I got follow-up too, sis, for your little area out in Cali. Yeah, I know you gonna know what I'm talking about, but we'll get to that. So I'll open up with, we'll start with you, sis. You have any go ahead on with the fuckery tonight?
Well, I think it's getting really kind of critical. They're already trying to pick a fight with Iran. They try to pick a fight with China. They try to pick a fight with everybody to stay afloat, because these wars that keep them, functioning as a nation, because they're the military complex. So they're trying to pick wars. Our people are picking wars with each other. We're killing the babies, shooting the babies in the faces and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, what is wrong with these people? So it's a lot of stuff as the planet is doing its thing, and the people can't keep up with the frequency, and they are going whacked out. I was having trouble with my computer because everything is not functioning well, and it could be because of Nibiru is in the house, and it's messing up the system. They did warn us that it's going to happen, but it's another thing to know it's going to happen than to see it happen. So it's interesting what we're going through over here on the West Coast, and the fire. They're going to turn out our electricity.
Yep. That's what I had for you tonight. Yep.
Yeah. I got a notice on that. I'm like, wait, and
okay,
then we'll
so
have.
You did. Okay.
Yeah, I got a notice on it, and I'm like, me here? But we did have some severe thunderstorms roll through here, and that is unusual. So because I'm really not, but hundreds of miles from the coast, and I'm like, where these guys came from? And then they had a sighting of tornadoes and stuff on the West Coast. Can you believe that?
I know. Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
But it's fascinating to see it and to hear it, and hailstorms and all this kind of stuff coming through. And now we're blazing, absolutely toasting, like 108 yesterday. So it's really strange. But we are in what we say we were going to be in.
Yep. Absolutely, sis. And that's the follow-up item I had. I was sure that you were going to bring up about the power outages, PG&E.
Oh, yeah.
They are sending folks notices, and in some areas they were saying in the Bay Area that they are definitely shutting down the power for a couple of days. They claim because of the weather, woo. And one particular area, they had already shut their little power off for 3 days.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so, and then one, I was looking at some video clips from the news stations up in the Bay Area, and one guy was like, you know what, just get prepared. I think this is going to be the new normal.
Right.
So I'm like, all
what
right.
can you do? So, the solar systems work with electricity. So people went out and got all this solar, but unless you pay extra to get off the grid, you're still on electricity.
Yeah, see that's California. That they're gonna soon change that. They're gonna change it very soon. I know across different states, I'm noticing that they got rid of telling people that they have to be on the grid. And I'm going to tell you something. These electric companies, number one, let's be clear, family, the electric companies across the U.S., they are all connected, okay? They just split off. But all you got to do is go look at the board of directors, and you'll see that, this one used to work here, that one used to work there. So basically, they're all connected, and they are all a monopoly. Right. And they are regulated by the federal government because they are a monopoly on what they can charge. But, the top echelon, not so much of the people that's actually at the company, running the day-to-day operation, but the top people in the know that they cannot sustain the grid system based on this new energy that has hit the planet. Okay,
the 5G or the solar? We did have another thing you speaking about yesterday or the day before. They had a warning on the UV, but they didn't call it UV. They just said you need to be careful when you go out in the sun, you'll get burnt.
Okay, but they didn't want to just come out and say the UV. Did they at least say solar flare? Shit, at least say that.
No,
damn.
Say that
but you
either.
knew what it was.
I knew what it was. I said, that's really interesting that you don't say the rest of it.
Right, and remember, I made the statement a few times. It's going to get to the point that they're going to tell people that they can't even come outside during this summer. I know I've been saying it for a while, and I know Brother Clyde has also said it a couple times too. So, that doesn't surprise me. But with the electric companies, they already know that they will not be able to maintain the grid. So the deregulation, they're going to get rid of that. And not only that, how the hell you going to tell me I can't get my own sustainable power when your grid system is unsustainable and unreliable? Okay, so they already know. They're just pussyfooting around to not put the public in panic and in shock. And then on top of that, they really, I mean, if people are not taking the cues with them telling you that they need to shut your power down for a couple of days on XYZ 123, and they are not thinking about self-sustainability,
right.
then, shame on you, okay? Because it's going to be like that with electric. I've already told you all, food, absolutely, and water.
Mm-hmm.
So get prepared. And as far as Nibiru is concerned, go watch Rap the News channel. He has been recording Nibiru in the sky, plain as day. Now notice, it's a few things going on, family. It's this one channel. Shit, I should have had it together. It's my bad, y'all. I want to say WSO. I want to say it's WSO. WSO has been recording videos with his particular subscribers, sending in photos of this big planetary / orb, however you want to say it, in the sky with these stripes on it and this dot on the side. So one of his other subscribers that have a channel himself sent him a picture and said, "Man, that is Jupiter." So WSO over the past about 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, every time they see this orb in the sky, they go get a picture of Jupiter and they lay it on top of the orb. It is a perfect match. Okay? So, next thing we know, mainstream media starts making this announcement, "Oh, you're going to be able to see Jupiter in the sky, and you're going to see Jupiter's moons, blah, 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 this, that, and the third." And so, I'm in agreement with WSO that they're only saying that because Jupiter has shown up very, very close in the sky. And, but you go to Rap the News video, what they are claiming to be Jupiter ain't even Jupiter. That's that Nibiru system. So you got Jupiter showing up in the sky really, really big. You got Nibiru and its planetary bodies and moons. So it's a lot going on. I'm sorry, sis. Go ahead.
I was going to say BP Earth used to say it was Jupiter. He said the same thing. Remember he started saying that about Jupiter. It was in the house. It was about a couple of years ago.
Yeah, because remember that song, when the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars. That is the age of Aquarius. Of the age of Aquarius. Because soon as WSO said that, I said, "Oh, shit. That's about right."
Yeah, and it's coming into vogue, it really is. And people, I don't know if they know it or what's happening, but they were saying you could see the moons of Jupiter. They did say it. I heard them say it. So I said, "Oh, okay. Interesting." But I know it's Nibiru because I saw it one night on the way, and it had the wings to it, too, on the way to LA.
So it's really two things. You do have Jupiter, which is in the 7th house.
Right.
Giving us the sign that the age has changed. So bye-bye Pisces era, which I told y'all we wasn't in Pisces no more.
Well, that's probably why all these priests getting busted. For the pedophile stuff, really a big deal now.
Yeah, true. They know what time it is. But yeah, so you do have Jupiter literally being very, very visible in the sky, although they block it, but again, they can't block everything. And then you can still see Nibiru's system.
Yeah.
So, which it makes sense why the poles are shifting, why the weather is just like really, really off the chain, because that's a lot of magnetic activity. And that's still not, even adding in the plasmatic events. And that's why the doggone electric company grid will not be stable. It's not going to be stable. That's why 5G will not be stable, and they're not going to be able to keep up with it, because the planetary energy and vibration has risen, and they can't keep up with it. So it does not surprise me that people are, going crazy, because they can't process and handle the energy, the higher level of energy. So it makes a lot of sense to me. So okay, great thing, sis. Great, thanks so much, Brother Sean. You have any? Go ahead on with the fuckery.
Yeah. Tony Rodham and his mysterious death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting.
Bob wanted to question him, and he turned up dead the next day.
Who the hell is Tony Rodham?
Hillary's brother.
Oh, Rodham, Hillary Rodham. Oh, what? That's not the one that was getting that money from Haiti.
Yeah.
Oh, that is him?
Yep. Worked on Bill's campaign in '92. He was around for all the juicy stuff.
All of a sudden he gonna die, huh?
What he died from?
I don't think he
said nothing yet, but as you see, very many people ain't heard about it. I mean, why ain't that making the rounds? I mean, Nipsey Hussle got more airplay than he getting.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. I guess he was about to spill the beans. And if Hillary willing to whack her own brother, and people still believing in her, I mean, the fact that they believe in any of them.
Right.
I'm just enjoying the show. I mean, the body count will continue to go up.
Yeah, because it sounds like it's some snitches and folks, they going beyond stitches. They putting their ass in ditches.
Right.
But,
that's a
part
show.
of that code, though. When they say code of silence, they ain't bullshitting with these people. Shit.
Right.
You can't sit up there and take these people's benefits and then want to snitch and don't think it's going to be repercussions behind it. Now, I'm not, justifying any of that behavior, but that was a part of their arrangements. And so now they're taking each other out.
Well, they've been doing that forever. That's in their DNA.
Yeah, true that, man. True that. Can't argue with you on that one. Well, we'll just sit back with the show and watch the show. I'm sorry, go ahead, sis.
You know what? I'm going to get on religion a little bit. But it really amazes me that people are waiting for the devil to show up. And the trait of the devil is to kill, steal, and destroy. So you waiting for him? You're looking at him.
Right. Exactly.
You're looking at him.
Exactly.
They all lay right in your face. And they fight each other like cats and dogs.
Yep.
And people don't understand. You wait for some preacher to tell you about this guy pie in the sky fake. ain't happening. It's right there in your face.
Yep. Always has been.
Always been in their face. And they don't see it. Who's the biggest devil on the planet? The United States. They kill everybody. Oh, they got the barges that's on fire that was hit by a missile from Saudi, and now they're saying Iran did it. Come on, you guys.
Right.
Look what's in your face.
Right. Right, because like we told you all, and we've been showing you just, through the different shows and the research that we've been doing, that this is the same Roman system. It's the same Roman system. It's the same energy and entity. It just shapeshifts into a different identity. But it's the same thing.
They wear suits now instead of togas. That's all it is.
Right. Exactly. Now, speaking of, a sister had posted something on her page, and it really struck me, and she knows who she is. Shout out to her. It is a YouTube video called "A Lack of Women in Asia," and it is off of a YouTube channel called DW Documentary. Very, very powerful documentary. Now, her and I were exchanging, back and forth, talking about the topic. And so, I said off the bat that, specifically speaking about China did the shit to themselves because they instituted that one-child rule. Okay? They had it in existence for decades, going back to Nixon era. And they were justifying it, saying that the people were starving. It was too many people in Asia being born. So, being the patriarch system that this planet is, China would get rid of the girl babies and keep the boy babies. Now, when I was there some years ago, been a little bit over 10 years ago, just on a visit, and the tour group I was with, we just had to ask that question. And the tour guide was very, very uncomfortable, so we had to do it in a way to not make them feel uncomfortable, because China is a highly censored country. Now, anybody that's ever been through there, it's scary as fuck going through immigration. Your nerves be shot. And, the way I've never seen my passport scrutinized that close, looking at the passport, looking at me, and I had a fro at the time. I didn't have my locks. And I'm thinking to myself, now how many motherfucking melanated women in China, 5'10", with a motherfucking afro, you sitting here looking at me, looking at my passport, looking at me, I'm like, it can't be. I'm probably the only one here. So, but just to give you an idea of how stringent they are, and literally you see AK-47s in the airport with the dogs, and leaving out of China. I think these people, they were either Dutch or Sweden. This lady forgot to take out her knife in her carry-on bag that she was putting through, and them guards surrounded her and, took her away, and her daughter started crying and walked. So I'm sure they took her back in the back room or whatever to get that situated. So the censorship it's real in China. Even when I was there and just trying to search the internet for different topics, they automatically give you what the fuck they want to give you. I literally could not get to the information that I wanted, and it was simple things. They did everything. They put a spin on it, on what they wanted you to see from the China perspective. All right, now with that said, so with this conversation we was having with the tour guide, so she said, we asked, was the one-child rule still in existence? And she said, now this was over 10 years ago, okay, probably 10, 11 years ago. It was the year before they had the Olympics, because when I was there, they were just building that bird cage-like stadium. So whatever year that was. So the lady goes, yes, the one-child rule is still in effect, but the only way you can get around that is you have to pay to be able to have a second child. And we was like, well, how much money is that? And so she said about $20,000. So she said, really only the wealthy can afford more than one child. And if you're living in the city, you don't see, people without the means with more than one child. So we knew not to ask her about whether those children were boys or girls, because we already knew the answer and we didn't want to make her feel uncomfortable. But she did tell us, she said, but in the country and the rural area, where you have the farmers, so they're going to be poorer, of course. And she didn't say that. We just automatically knew that because as we were there, we kind of rolled through some of those areas so we can see the shit with our own eyes. But anyhow, she was saying that rule, although they were supposed to be following the rules, they really wasn't following them. It wasn't being heavily enforced. And, that kind of makes sense. So fast forward to now you have it to the point where China does not have enough women to marry all of the men that are in China or Chinese. So as I was, talking back and forth to the sister, we were on Facebook kind of chatting back and forth about it. I said, you know what? They did it to themselves. So seems like it's going to be extinction for that particular race. They're going to be, blending in with someone else or just totally dying out. So then what I did not know until I watched that documentary, that the same thing was going on in India. I did not know that. And it was exact same thing. They was keeping the boys, getting rid of the girls. And in both cases, and in China and in India, they were doing forced abortions, forced sterilization. And so now India is to the point, and anybody that's familiar with India, they have a caste system. So meaning, based on your family, and kind of the U.S. kind of still has it too, it's an economic scale. Okay, so you're born into poverty, you're pretty much going to stay there. You're born into middle classness, you're going to stay there. And how they marry off their children, they don't fucking play. It's real serious. And I know this from firsthand being in tech. It's a serious business. They really look at economics, and you're not going to find someone that's from a lower caste marrying into a middle or an upper caste. It just does not happen. The family forbids it. Number one, the daughter or the woman's family has to pay a dowry to the man's family. So if you poor and you a woman, you're not going to marry up. So anyhow, they were also doing forced abortion, forced sterilization. And so now, fast forward, they have a shortage of women that men can marry. Okay, so both in China and India, they have resorted to kidnapping women, even little girls. In China, they've gotten so desperate. They're going to those same rural areas. Remember, I was telling you about 10 years ago, although they don't talk about it in the documentary, that they were having more children in the rural area. I just knew that from my visitation. So they're going to the rural areas in China, kidnapping little girls, and they're being sold into other provinces, and families are raising the little girls and pretty much bidding them out for hands in marriage. And then in India, young girls are getting kidnapped and getting married off or sold, mistreated, misused, and then sold again and again, and then married off. One particular case they talked about in the video, this one young girl, she didn't look more than 20, so she could have been anywhere from 14 to 20, and this old motherfucking goat had the nerve to break out some marriage certificate talking about some he paid for her. Okay, so as I was, the sister and I were talking back and forth, I said, this is pretty much, again, it is a war on women on this planet. It's nothing new with the patriarchal system trying to control what a woman does with her body, or not do with her body. And they're playing these games of trying to control the bloodline. Okay? Because in both cases, in China and India, the stinking ass United Snakes and the United Nations was involved with paying off these nations' leaders to institute these policies against women. Okay? Now, I'm just thinking from another level, it's twofold. The first thing is the white supremacy system really thought that they can wipe out black, brown, caramel, however the fuck you want to say it. Really thought they can wipe it out. Okay, because we already know what they did and still try to do, and it don't work, with the melanated people on this land and all across the planet. Okay, so they really thought that they could wipe out that gene, and that the Caucasian gene would be the dominant in numbers. And it has never happened. They want to lie and make you believe that the Caucasian numbers are higher, but they always been the lower. They could never get beyond. And as we were doing that Black Nobility series, you heard, who was that, Franklin? Was that Ben Franklin? One of them, shit, I would have to re-pull it again. Say that over in the Americas and all across the planet, where they were lower in numbers. Okay?
That was Franklin.
It was Franklin. Okay, I thought it was. Okay, because his argument was... I'm sorry, go ahead, Brother Sean.
No, he was saying how every place was, quote unquote, full of black people except them and a small pocket of them here and someplace else.
Yep. So his argument was he didn't want no Africans coming over to the Americas because he would like that we're already outnumbered everywhere you go, and he got to naming those different nations. Okay, so that was the first policy to try to shut down the feminine womb to stop these black and brown bodies or souls from incarnating back into the realm. And the second, of course, was to still dominate and control mother. Because if you control the woman, you control the land, you control the realm. Okay? So that's from a spiritual perspective. Okay? They wanted to stop the ancestors' return for this very time that we're in, which this is motherfucking cleanup time. Okay? Then the other reason, as we've been talking, it's about bloodlines. Okay? You got these folks that are not in tune to the realm, to Mother Earth, to the matriarch, who wants to wipe out the bloodlines that will always oppose them. Okay, so one of the quotes from that documentary, so again, that documentary is A Lack of Women in Asia. It's off of the YouTube channel DW Documentary. All right, so two of the quotes off of that that really, really just sent chills through me. One is, if anyone expected a second child, they face draconian punishment. That was in China. Now, that's the exact words out of the documentary. I found it really, really interesting that they used draconian. The second quote was, you can beat it out, you can kill it, you just can't give birth to it. And that was, again, coming out of China. So I'm going to say this. Asia, we already done told you that Asia, or I always say Eurasia, I put they motherfucking stinking asses together. Chicken's coming home to roost for you. Because the damage that you have done to stay in power, to keep the patriarch system in power, and the disrespect that you have done on the land to Mother Earth, to her daughters, to her children. Every last one of you fuckers are paying the price now. You haven't seen nothing yet. You will not be able to live on the land, in the land. You will not be able to drink from her waters. You will not be able to eat from her ground. Your motherfucking time is up. You all know who you are that did the shit that you did. And I'm just talking a couple of decades back, but we all know it goes back much further than that. So now it's pay up time. And you don't have to believe me. Like I always say, take your monkey ass outside and stand out in them tsunamis and them floods, and y'all can't fucking grow stuff over there. And Europe is freezing over. And don't think run into Africa trying to lay up with the African women to get your little footprint in that land and grow your little food there, or buying up land in California, buying up a shit in the South, owning stuff behind the scenes in these places. Don't think that that's going to save you, because I am telling you, you have cursed yourself from this land. You have cursed your bloodline. So get ready. So I'm going to yield on that in case y'all wanted to put something on it. If not, I'm going to move on.
Yeah. The thing is, just from a natural standpoint of view, if any claim to be telling the truth on their channels, all these other so-called truth channels, why do y'all keep lying about who's who?
Yep.
The fact that you even claim a nationality or identity that was associated with Aboriginal people makes you a liar, period. You live in a lie.
It does.
Irregardless to what you say.
Right.
You're still reaping the benefits of the conquest. You still here. I mean, you gone, irregardless to what we say.
Yeah.
We don't have to say anything.
Mm-mm.
But I guess they would prefer that we didn't say anything. But there are certain conversations that need to be had, especially if any of them are trying to get some type of leniency or forgiveness. I mean, it's too late, but
Yeah.
it's too late for any of those things. But, I mean, if you really just want to come clean, and, you know, so that you feel better for a little while, I have no problem with you feeling better for a little while. And maybe at that time you can come to peace with what your fate is and not make things any worse than what they have to be. I mean, you gone one either way it go. How you go is what you can determine. But that's up to you. I'm done.
Very good point. And, you know, I just want to add on to that if you want to come clean, you want forgiveness, whatever the case you may be, you have to start with truth. Not part of the truth, not what you want the truth to be. You have to come with truth. And until folk are ready to have those conversations, tell the whole truth, me personally, you're not going to waste my motherfucking time. Because if you think I'm going to argue with you over who is whom and whose identity is who, I saw somebody arguing this one person had posted an article about the indigenous people of the land and laid out all of the documents with the evidence. And, you know, some people hit the balls because the person put in there the OMAC heads with the motherfucking French braids and all of that. Somebody hit the balls to come back and say, oh, no, those people aren't, no. I'm like, wow. You that in denial that now you motherfucking claiming French braids and nappy hair and beads. Oh, okay then.
But you know, if they do that, they lose power. You know that, don't you?
Well, it's already lost.
But I mean, if they really tell,
it's already lost.
I understand that, but they don't want to do that because they'll lose power, because they know that they have melanated people in all these countries that you talked about, India and stuff. They have them in the background, and if they bring them forward, then the jig is up. So they rather go down fighting.
And hey, that's fine with me. I mean, it again, like Brother Sean say, I don't have a choice in it because it don't be my decision. So tell that to the plasma as it's tasing you in your ass.
Well, like I said,
you wanted to maintain.
India, China, Japan,
water.
All those places have the real leaders hid.
And
the real royals.
That's on them. That's on them. They can stand and tell it to the elements. Go tell it to them sons that you are XYZ. Stand your monkey ass out there and tell it to the motherfucking UV radiation.
Right.
In the sky and from the ground. Tell it to the elements. So if you want to keep lying to yourself, and maybe that's it. You want to keep lying to yourself to the last plasma sting you in the ass or the last flood take you over, then do you, boo. But it is what it is. Mother Earth has moved on. She's cleansing. And either you have your shit together, you in tune, or your ass is out. Your choice.
It is.
Uh-huh.
But a reality a lot of our people need to come to is they actually have no power. We're giving them our power. They have no power. Period. Exactly. I mean, basically on the grand scheme of things, they're nothing but a thought form. They get us to create and bring everything to life. They don't have the power or the ability to do it, so they have to get us to do it.
Yep.
I mean, it's a great mind fuck, but it's nothing that they learned on their own.
No.
They had to learn from one of us.
Exactly.
So it's not only the pets that are going to have to go. Those who are responsible for these pets.
It's cleanup time.
Because if those of you behind the scene with your little pets, if you really wanted some type of forgiveness, which you obviously don't want, you don't give a flying fuck, which is fine, you'd have reeled your little pets in. But did you? No.
Nope.
You let them run amok.
Yeah, and actually led them to the slaughterhouse.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if you go back to the stories anyway, their creation story, they wasn't supposed to be around this long. You was just supposed to do a certain amount of work and then disappear back into the earth. You weren't supposed to procreate or nothing. At least they weren't.
Well, it is what it is.
If you really look at the story and the way everything is going, everybody pissed at them, even their creator. Because shit, you didn't listen to him, you don't listen to us, you don't listen to no fucking body.
Well, it is what it is, and again, nobody has a choice but Mother, and I've said this and I'll say it again, she has the last word. And if she wants to wipe every motherfucking entity, bacteria, species off of her, she can and she will. That's all right. So again, you ain't got to argue with me. Go stand out in the elements and tell it to her. So, okay. So the other thing I wanted to discuss real quick, and it is you're going to keep hearing this talk about reparations. Another article came out this week. This was the 6th. It was published June 6th. It says, what the hell is this publication? It's called Daily Beast. House hearings will examine slavery reparations for the first time in over a decade. A hearing on slavery reparations will take place on Capitol Hill next week. Okay, so let me look at my calendar to make sure I ain't motherfucking cross-eyed. So that will be this week they have them hearings, right? Okay, so a hearing on slavery reparations will take place on Capitol Hill next week for the first time in more than 10 years, the Associated Press reports. Writer Ta-Nehisi Coates and actor Danny Glover are both set to testify before the House Judiciary Subcommittee on the Constitution, Civil Rights, and Civil Liberties on Wednesday. Under Chairman Steve Cohen, Democrat out of Tennessee, the subcommittee will reportedly set out to examine through open and constructive discourse the legacy of the transatlantic slave trade, its continuing impact on the community, and the path to restorative justice. The scheduled date of the hearing, June 19, also coincides with Juneteenth, a cultural holiday honoring the emancipation of enslaved blacks in America. First of all, to all the celebrities that's jumping on this reparation for slavery bandwagon, you need to stop. You're not a representative for the indigenous people of the land. Okay? So you need to do a lot more research on who you are before you call yourself sitting before anyone being a representative about something that you are very much so inaccurately telling the story, okay? This is nothing but a ploy to get the indigenous people, once again, to stick with an identity that is not theirs, to get the label of slavery still stigmatized on you, to keep that curse on you, and more importantly, to separate you from the land. So we're not interested. We're not interested. And those of you that are interested, knock yourself out, sweetheart. I have no ill will towards you, but just know the attachments that come with identifying yourself from Africa that separates you from the land. And if you're cool with that, you do your thing. I wish you well. But for those of you who know what the deal is, I don't think so. Me personally, I'm not taking no motherfucking deal for my family and for my, not even legacy, but bloodline with the stain of an identity that is not fucking ours and separating us from the land. It's not going to happen. Okay? So you're going to continuously keep hearing them put these out, because the more and more folks keep talking about who's indigenous to the land, they're going to try to counteract with these reparation talks and they done found this artifact of this motherfucking slave ship and all of that. It's a game that they're playing. So just beware. I did want to keep you aware of that. Dane Calloway does have a new video out discussing about reparations and stuff. I haven't got through it all. It's called The Untold Truth About America's Dark History. He just dropped it yesterday. So I encourage you to go listen to that. He does give a lot more background into what they are calling slavery, what it actually was. And we've discussed that with you all several times. So I'm going to say, and I'm going to say again, it is everyone's responsibility to know who they are. And when you don't know who you are, somebody else is going to tell you who you are so you can follow their agenda. And you can best believe their agenda is not for your benefit, for you and yours. We are in the, I don't even want to say time, we are in the frequency of breaking these spells. Okay, so melanated people in particular, with your bloodline being the oldest and the strongest genetically, it's time to get your shit together to break all of these curses and break these fucked up ass spiritual agreements, because labeling yourself something that you are not is in fact putting a curse on you. Just the stigma of slavery is putting a curse on you and yours. Why do you think the Caucasian race didn't fucking pick up that narrative, which fits them, by the way? They didn't even pick up the narrative and title of slavery or indentured servant, because it's a curse. So it is your responsibility to break the curses in your bloodline. It starts with you. It starts in your household. And to the Caucasians and all of the race, it applies to you. Get your shit in order. Stop fucking switching identity, saying you're something that you're not. It's your responsibility to find out exactly who you are. So people that want to run around, talk about namaste, peace and love, brother and sister that, you can bullshit all you want to. But if you have not done the necessary work to go within, to know who you are spiritually, and know where your bloodline has come from physically, you're bullshitting yourself. And no amount of incense, crystals, none of that is going to save your ass. You got to do the work. Everybody in this realm got to do the work. And nobody is riding anybody's motherfucking coattail. So, with that, I yield.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
No. Excuse me. It really is simple, but everybody makes it complex. They know that reparations means to rep a nation, a created nation. And what are they going to repair you with? They have to leave.
Exactly.
Also, it's the Democrats who are behind this. This is all about the 2020 election and
with
trying
their
to
funky
overthrow
asses.
Trump.
Yeah.
Trying to get the so-called black, trying to get the African Americans riled up and back into the Democratic fold, irregardless of how monstrous the Democrats are. They always know how to pull on black people's heartstrings.
Mm-hmm.
They the ones that pull all the race cards. They the ones that have the cops go out here and kill brothers and sisters, or they fake it, or whatever. Either way, they're the ones just playing with your emotions.
Yep.
And you let them. And they got to go. They leaving. I mean, what do they actually have to offer?
Nothing.
Money is
lies.
corruption. Ain't nobody accepting money. The U.S. dollar, China, Russia, all the big players, ain't none of them accepting this money no more.
Right.
And one more thing, sis. And considering Mama ain't finished what she doing, what you gonna do with the money? Where you gonna buy something at? How long you gonna have it?
Exactly.
I mean, you gonna get some money and then you gonna move right in them people's neighborhoods, and they neighborhoods are the ones slated by Mama to be took out. So you
they are being
their
taken
black
out.
Right. But they gonna go take their quote unquote black asses and sit right in the middle of it because now they think they got money like the quote unquote white man. We got reparations. We equal. We even now. They make us even. We can be friends now. Y'all gave us reparations. Thanks, boss.
Indeed, brother.
I want to add to what he just said. You just said the Democrats are responsible for all the ills of what we're suffering. And her brother just passed, right? And wasn't he over the monies for Haiti?
Yep.
And how many of those didn't get that money? They still struggling because that money was not delivered to them, and that was about $10 billion, I think it was. And then they just is, and you can't tell anybody that these people do this to them because they will believe that because they're Democrats to the heart. They're the Democrats. They're Republicans. They fight each other, because, man, I believe in this. Y'all guys is just playing. They just playing you, and you just don't get it. You're just being played. So anyway, the Democrats are responsible for the abortion bills, and where are your abortions at? In your neighborhood. That's where they located. They're responsible for
the jail laws, the 3 strikes and out. Yeah.
Clinton did.
Yep.
And they said it was for small infractions, but that's not true. You can steal a pack of gum and go to jail for life if you had a robbery before. So that's not a small infraction, come on now. They just playing us, and we are being strung like a fiddle. So I think people should just wake up and smell the coffee. That doesn't make sense. And we still go out there and believe them because they look good. And then they come and smile in your face, and then they go and do other things behind your back.
Right. Indeed. And again, anyone at this stage, if you are in the mindset of, and I remember I talked about this gang leadership when we talked on religion, which gang you want to rep. You want to rep the Jesus gang, the Allah gang, the Buddha gang, the Sky Daddy, alien gang. It's the same thing with these politics. It's the same thing, same script. You want to, rep the, I'm an independent gang, I'm the Republican gang, I'm the Democrat gang, instead of repping your motherfucking self. Why would you need someone to speak on your behalf? So all of this fuckery, with this politics, all of that shit, I don't give a damn who it is. It's all a game. It's all an illusion to control. Because folks have given up their power. They have given up their energy to others. And anytime you do that, they are not going to use your energy in your best interest. That's why they treat you like shit and they treat you like a child. Because that's the way you're acting. When you feel you need someone to make these decisions for you. When you feel you need someone to feed you. So meaning to grow your motherfucking food.
Minor.
You need someone to do all of these things for you. So in essence, you are childlike. And until people raise their consciousness to enter and understand that it starts with self, you are supposed to be self-sufficient. You have everything you need. You have the land beneath your feet. You have the sun, you have the rain, you have the motherfucking air. You have everything you need. Why the fuck would you need somebody over you to regulate anything? To raise you as a bastardized child, to treat you the way they want to treat you. This has been the consciousness level on this planet ever since the conquerors have come through and decimated and enslaved mentally. Slavery was a mental game. The indigenous people of the world. And then they sit back and use your motherfucking energy to their benefit and don't give a damn what happened to you. They just keep you alive long enough and enough of you long enough to keep feeding off of you. So it's bigger than some fucking politics. That ain't shit in the grand scheme of things. But if you don't raise your consciousness and go within, you'll never get those things. So you'll keep in that cycle. You'll keep in that cycle. And you'll keep coming back as someone's fucking slave. So I'll yield again. Absolutely Purple Pill. Shout out to Purple Pill in the chat room. Archon. Absolutely.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like the acceptance of the term minor and minority.
Yes.
Now, you take minority, that means you're lesser in number.
Yep. And we're not even lesser in number.
In other words, a lower frequency. As long as you're believing that you're in the minority, you're placing yourself in lower frequencies because there are certain stereotypes that go along with being the minority.
Yep.
The great mindfuck.
Yep.
But
It's
we'll sit up and say that we're minorities. This, that, that. They outnumber us. This, that, that. We check minority on paperwork. This, that, that. I mean, people do it subconsciously.
Yep.
I mean,
yeah, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
Majority of my life coming up, only time I saw white people was police, firemen, and teachers and shit like that. They wasn't just every fucking where you went.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it was black-owned stores, black-owned restaurants, bars, everything when I was coming up. Wasn't no white people in the neighborhood.
Nope.
If I did see white people in the neighborhood, they was getting the shit beat out of them by the black nationalists.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I've always wondered how the fuck they was the majority when they came over here on boats. I mean,
right.
a land full of motherfuckers. And enough of you motherfuckers came over on boats to overpopulate us.
It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up, and we can go back to let's see, because really they did not come into power until, and when I say they, I mean Caucasians, to what, the late 1800s, and I may even give them the mid 1800s. But the early Caucasians that were coming over from Europe, they were indentured servants.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And a lot of them had Moorish masters.
Exactly. Who sent them over? Exactly. Either to work off their debt, or some of them came to run the businesses, but they never outnumbered. Because shit, Franklin said it out of his own fucking mouth. I'm not making it up. He said it. I didn't say it.
And that was in the 1800s.
Yep. Yep. So, absolutely 1000% agree with you. That's why I say, again, until people raise their consciousness, then you will reprogram your subconsciousness and you'll see the shit for what it is. Something as simple as Brother Sean say, filling out some paperwork. I wish the fuck I would. I wish the fuck I would put minority or African motherfucking American on my paperwork. I wish the fuck I would. So take it for what it's worth. Yes, Purple Peel. He dropped in here. He or she. Sorry, I don't know. A brother or sister. Food of the Gods. H.G. Wells. 1906. Yeah, that's another one I have to pick up. How to Cook Humans. Bart Simpson. And then the number of European / Caucasian slaves have always outnumbered the so-called African slave. Absolutely, because it was more economically cheaper. So they could get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. You had to pay a premium for an African slave. You even had to pay a premium even to try to enslave the indigenous people. So it was cheaper to have the Slavs or the indentured servant Caucasians. I'm sorry, go ahead, sis.
I was looking at a video that said in 1550 they brought 1 million of them here because they were kidnapping them off the streets and pressing them into service in the military and all kinds of stuff. But for us, I also know that they were taking 10,000 of us out of this country, but they couldn't make us slaves until they changed our titles. Once they start changing our titles to Negro, colored, African American, mulatto, Creole, whatever, black, then that's when they gave us the title of slaves. It wasn't before then. But they did it on the census, I understand. That's what they had recorded about all that. So I just want to bring that up.
Yeah, and that's why I'm encouraged. I'm sorry, go ahead, Brother Sean.
But also you have to remember that all of that came about after they started relocating folks.
Exactly.
Because they tried that dumb shit at first. It was like, nigga, go out there, do this, do that. He ran away. He knew the man. It's like,
right.
Oh, okay. Watch me go out here and do this.
Right.
And dip and come back with an army and murder their asses. So they had to start basically relocating the children and killing off the adults, separating the youth and the elders, so that nobody could tell the truth as far as for who is.
Right. Right.
The Moors had done such a good job of infiltrating and mixing of the bloodlines. We was already just about done from the inside out. See, that's what all that amalgamation and seed mixing bring about. That bring about internal strife. Because you have people that are conflicted, especially the ones that actually committed the deed.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they want to protect their child, but then you subject the child to being called half-breed, this, that, or the other, and they want to kill off the half-breed, this, that, or the other. You're not pure. I mean, if we don't look at it from that point in time. But I mean, I'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah, and I just want to add on to it because even back then when they were claiming all that slavery was going on, and that's why I'm encouraging folks to check out Dane's latest video because he's right. The term that, because you'll hear I hear even some people today that have land in the South, and I'm talking to indigenous melanated people that got land up in the South, would say, how much you have, and it'd be a lot, child, be acres and acres, and it's passed down through the bloodline, and their ancestors set it up where they can't sell it. It has to stay within the family, this, that, and the third, and they're honoring that. So my next question be, so how did you all get that land? Oh, well, my grandfather got it. He was a sharecropper. I'm so, oh, that's interesting. You sure about that? Yeah, that's what he said. He was a sharecropper. That's what the story that's been passed down. Well, what's missing out of that story is sharecropping their own land, because it was turned into commerce and businesses. Okay? And just like anything else, when you dealing with that pen and the paper, and folks casting spells on that pen and paper and not have no intention of honoring any particular contract, a lot of people of our ancestors got looped into this perpetuary slavery debt system. It was through labor. Okay, and so that's why a lot of our ancestors walked away from the land, because they felt it was enslaving them. That's why to this day, what they're calling the quote, quote, black farmers are still going through it. This shit goes back deep. Okay? So it was on both fronts, trying to, ship us off of the land over to Africa, over to Negro land. But most of it was from corporate takeover. Corporate takeover with the concept of employment. So literally paying to farm your own land, and then you turn around and take out these loans to try to farm the land, then you can't keep up with the payments. It's the same shit they're doing now to the farmers. Okay? All for the purpose of getting the land. And that's why I say, and I continue to say, the value is in the land and in the people. Not no motherfucking trinkets. It's the land and the people. You don't need an entity or a structure to govern your mental. Okay, and just real quick, Purple Pill's been dropping some nice stuff in the chat. Slovenia, Bosnia, Albania. And so I said, okay, so Slovenia, SLO equals SLAV equals slaves. And so Purple Pill came back to say served equals slave, also Lord. Service, serve X. Legislative, legislative, legit slave. That's why we keep telling you all, when you put these fucking titles on yourself, we've discussed this before, when we were talking about representing your motherfucking gang in the religion. You best believe there is an associated vibration with it and associated physical attribute that's going to happen in the form of karma and other things. So you are in essence casting these spells upon yourself and upon your bloodline. And yes, absolutely, Purple Pill, the civil rights were the merger. Absolutely correct. Why the fuck would you need somebody to grant you some motherfucking rights? Are you kidding me? Get the fuck out of here. How you gonna grant me something that's inherently mine through birthright on my motherfucking shit? These are the spells that we have passed, that we have allowed to be passed on us. Civil rights, get the fuck out of here with that. So, choice is yours, family. Sorry, go ahead, Brother Sean.
But that brings me to this whole universal love thing. Now, when sharecropping first began, they felt sorry for the white slaves, so they let them stay on and work, and they'd share some of the crops with them. There wasn't the other way around. The slave master.
How else would the white slaves know how to work the motherfucking land?
Exactly.
How would they know how to grow shit over here when they was starving over in Europe? Let's be motherfucking clear. Let's get it clear. Their population was starving. Those kings, and it was melanated black nobility, have fucked up their economy so bad that the population was fucking starving. They couldn't even grow anything out of the land because they had terraformed it so much. So you mean to tell me, help me motherfucking understand this. They just came over here and knew how to grow those fucking crops. Get the fuck out of here with that. But the African slaves knew how to do it. Get the fuck out of here with that. So I'm sorry, Brother Sean. Go ahead.
Yeah, but they turned around and then usurped our people. You know, because of their skin when they started, you know, the Racial Integrity Act and things like that came into play, which gave them the ability to be able to out-leverage our people for the land.
Right.
And one more thing about the ancestors. We are them. The only living ancestors we ever know are our parents, great-grandparents, grandparents, you know, the likes of that. Any people that you're able to come across within your physical existence at any particular time. Other than that, some of these people that you're looking up back to the 1700s, 1800s, this, that, and other, that may have been your ass.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, as far as for waiting for the ancestors to return to do...
You are the ancestors.
Any goddamn... Yeah, you return to do some shit other than wait on a motherfucker. Because all you're going to do is wait on yourself in another goddamn cycle.
That's all it is. That's why I keep saying that you have to break the motherfucking curse. It's up to you. Or, you know, I guess some people like repeating a cycle of hell and low 3D density. That's cool too if you like repeating that shit. So it is what it is. So absolutely great point. And Purple Pill, you know you up in here clowning, right? Oh boy. Okay, let me bring on doggone brother 832. Where'd you go? Get back in the queue. I was coming to you. So star 1 if you want to talk. I was coming to you. Okay. So I'll come back and check 832. I saw you in the queue, but I don't want to open your line in case you had to do something. So get back in the queue and I'll just come and check. I'm getting ready to start the reading material. Okay. So we left off. We're on Giant Cities of Bashan. This was written was published in 1865. Let's see. We left off on page 82. So how do you, sis and Brother Sean, y'all want to do this? I got the little information on the fallen angel situation that y'all want to run through these names, or you want to get back. Oh, wait a minute. Here go Brother 832. Okay, I see you. Let me give him his opportunity because he was in the queue earlier. Peace and love, brother. How are you?
Rhonda! Sandra! My sisters from other vistas!
Feathers up.
Colonizers down! Sean! My brother from another mother on Mount Olympus throwing them black lightning bolts down tonight.
Indeed, bro. Indeed, bro.
You know, when we hear the word. You know what I wanted to say to you tonight, my comments, Rhonda, was somewhat in the sense of, is it restoration or reparation? You know, reclaiming what it is. We need to talk about one thing, And everything that I say, when I say what I'm talking and my perspective, but the issue that confronts us is literally identity crisis. We are confused. Okay? So now, the issue is, shall we research our story, the truth, or continue to repeat White his story?
Right.
That's the question that hangs in the balance. Okay? In the Netflix corridor, if you haven't seen it yet, have you checked out Black Godfather?
No,
Clarence
it is
Avant?
on my list. It's on my list.
And you know when they see us, which I still can't start to watch. It's extremely painful for me. But I think you were in New York at the time.
Is?
No. Black Godfather is excellent.
Okay, yeah.
And I want to tie it together in the context of what we're talking about tonight. But when they see us, it's about the Central Park Five.
Oh, I'm not watching.
The 4-part series that Ava did.
Yeah, I'm not watching.
The 4-part series that Ava DuVernay has done.
Yeah.
But I put those side by side because, again, as an example of what I just laid out, do we go and find out our story? The true story. I'm talking about personally, individually, and collectively within our immediate family. And some of what you said tonight, remember Chief Alonzo Langley? I hope he gets back over here. And forensic genealogy?
Yep.
Okay, I'm needing to look up that video you said Dane just dropped yesterday. But if you have your YouTube open, could you put in the search what I tried to tell you the last time we talked about Nancy Eisenberg, or the 400-year history of white trash?
Yeah,
because a lot of what you just commented, a lot of what you just commented on, she lays out documentary scholarship fashion on how, from the very beginning, when they first unloaded these people here, they created the term waste people. Now, that's not us calling them niggas, okay?
Right.
They said in their own psychological makeup, and by the way, a recent video that was dropped on me by a friend, Elizabeth I started the considered quote-unquote Atlantic African slave trade in 1564. Elizabeth I. The current Elizabeth is still the head of the Church of England that was compelled to apologize. Now, it's interesting how they're only talking about apologies, right? I shared with you before about this brother, William Darity, who is, I think it's Duke, I believe it's Duke University, who is an expert in. Now, you mentioned Ta-Nehisi Coates and Danny Glover. They didn't talk about Claude Anderson or Dr. Darity, who actually have not only one done scholarship, and in the case of Claude Anderson, has actually initiated lawsuits over the past 30 years about reparations. Now, the only thing I have a quarrel with him about is he continues to push the black narrative, and he believes in the out-of-Africa myth. But he also wants us to lay legitimate claims and use legal arguments based on the Native American, and I'm using air quotes here, Native American claim. Now, the problem, and I'm bouncing around here, but this is somewhat convoluted.
You good.
Are. These Mongoloid Caucasoid hybrids, who have been created out of the Siberian land bridge, as Sandra points out very frequently, have put them and displaced them on these so-called reservations in this unholy alliance of doing dealings with the devil, of laying claim to something they don't have either. They're not the authentic original inhabitants. The $5 Indians, the Caucasoid frauds like Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren. This has been going on ever since, as you notice, they only refer to the 5, I'm using air quotes again, civilized tribes. Out of how many thousands of tribal nations that exist? So then who the hell are the uncivilized tribes?
Exactly.
I pointed this out before. Again, in the Constitution, there is only 2 specific populations that are written about in constitutional law. The so-called first, we're talking about the very beginning of the Constitution, Article 1, Section 1, that talks about empowering representatives, representative arm of government, which is the House of Representatives in the Congress, and enumeration, which is the census, taking a head count, they only identified whole number of free persons. Who was designated a free person? Now we know what it has evolved into. Notice now you're actually hearing more white descriptive discussion. That up until now, we were the only ones described in a colorful fashion, as in black.
Yep.
You never heard actual descriptive conversations, news reporting, whatever you want to talk about. But now all you hear is white, 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 white. Right? Since Trump was elected, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they do not use that term in the Constitution. Neither do they use the term black. Neither do they use the term African.
Right.
It says whole number of free persons. Keep that in mind.
Yep.
Then it says Indians not taxed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, between those two designations, they say 3/5 all other persons. What are the other persons? They don't say enslaved. They don't say chattel slavery. They don't say indentured servant. And people, actually spend time. Go look at the actual document. You don't have to believe nothing of what I say. Look at the document. Now, back to Miss Nancy Eisenberg and the untold truth. I found that's what caught my eye when it first popped up in my YouTube, videos or what. Anything that comes up untold truth, I'm thinking it's Dane. You feel me? So her video was entitled "The Untold Truth About the 400-Year History of White Trash."
Mm-hmm.
As you just pointed out, and Sean did too, these tenants, the term squatter is in Rhonda, they have a cracker dictionary. I'd love to try to get a copy of that, just like y'all have this book that you're reading from about the Giants. They said, she said that the actual presence of these people was so overwhelming, meaning, as y'all just pointed out, whether that number is 1 million or not, that Sandra just said, they say amongst themselves, when you go and research their common diaries, journals, the reporting that took place in the day. This is not something you're going to look at and project on some future thinking and then look back on it. This is what they are thinking at the time. Okay? These people were considered weeds, vermin, out of control, unruly. They sterilized these people. Okay? They called them squatters, crackers, rednecks, white trash. Okay?
Yep.
The original phrase in the very beginning, now remember, the claim that transatlantic African slave trade under Elizabeth I is in 1564. Now, that's half a century before James comes along in 1606 and does his fact-finding mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
They now are saying we need to distribute these waste people, that's what they called them, and send them to what they call the New World. We already know it was the existing world, but they want to call it the New World, that they call the wilderness, and a wasteland. So you send waste people to the wasteland. You follow me?
Yep.
This wasn't seen as some great place to be sent to, do you think? And those nobles, the lords, whatever high-bearing, high-minded, if you will, nobility, they got sent over here. Don't you think they would consider that punishment?
They did, because remember I told you.
You're going to lift yourself up out. You're going to lift yourself up out of the prestigious position you had in Europe.
Exactly.
Travel 4 to 6 months to unknown territory. I mean, it's kind of common sense, you would think, if you actually stop and think about this for a minute.
Yep.
But we keep holding these people up with this lie called white, his story.
Yep.
And it's all unraveling as we start to put the announcement. So, as I'm babbling here, and again, I go back to, if we just bother to individually check our own personal family story, not history. Let's just say story. And the searching and unveiling these folks along this journey, that will provide factual history, one. Two, I know you see some of these series that Skip Gates has put on, particularly when he uses these celebrities. There's this one episode, I can't remember the woman's name, but I do know it was in the episode with Condoleezza Rice and Samuel Jackson. I forgot what their name was, but the third woman was the president of Brown University, who, by the way, has a history in Texas, Sandra. Do you know this Negro, self-professed, African American, said that she became the first, because he loved to be, denigrating and pejorative about black folks. Always talking about that, great Big Mama told them that we have Native American and straight hair and high cheekbone again, which is a Hollywood imagery of what a so-called Native American is, not who our actual Aboriginal inhabitants of the land was. But he said this woman was the first one, and you know how he always shows the African map with color coding of where these bits and pieces of Africa that we're supposed to be stitched together and be apart or descended from. This woman had zero. And not only did he display a map of Africa that was white, which I thought was a psychological interesting thing that he put out, meaning there had absolutely no African origin. He had no African origin he could put on this woman. And then he passed over, commenting, I think he might have made a little slight reference about she was a descendant of a Native American princess or something like that. But he didn't go into any detail. And she was out of Texas, Sandra. I forgot the town, too. But again, what struck me was this was the one person, he said, out of all that he'd ever done that actually had Native American ancestry, but did not go forward with it. Did not come with any kind of DNA analysis, because all the DNA analysis he's got is trying to prove out of Africa.
Right.
All right. Top all of that off with the woman is now in charge of the Ivy League University Brown. Brown University. That still does not allow us to become active, full participants when you talk this minority status crap. Okay? When he went back and did the wrap-up that he did on all these things, he continues to try to convince us, again, this is a portion, it is a piece. I love to use the analogy of a gumbo. I am not the okra, I'm not the rice, I'm not the chicken, not the shrimp, not the peas or the carrots or whatever, ingredients. I'm the roux. The roux is the stock. You feel me? The base that pulls all of it together. That's our autochthonous origins. That is the original inhabitants. That is the indigenous people that were on this land that they have committed paper genocide. That is the phrase that Dane uses in his video. That is paper and is actually an authentic phrase from the Virginia government, by the way, by a white legislator that pronounced that there was paper genocide done to extract through the Indian Removal Act and continue to lay thievery, because they have admitted in Virginia history to take Caucasians to lay claim to the authentic Aboriginal Americans, not Native Americans. And so when we have these conversations, and I know this is something that all of you on this panel do understand, but I'm saying for discussing this with our other mostly ignorant brothers and sisters, especially when they hear the Moorish argument raised about nationality. This is what I will wrap up with my 2 cents, having been born in Birmingham, Alabama. When we have a discussion about nationality, it simply put is that through the womb of the woman, unless she is used as a surrogate, every woman is the actual birth mother.
Right.
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe, right? We've heard that when we grew up on it. The semen or the seed does not determine the so-called land claim. You already understand. Now, you've said this repeatedly, not only about the matrilineal line, not only about mitochondrial DNA, Again, the vessel may be the woman, but that is not disputable. DNA is only dealing with patrilineal lineage. They can confirm through mitochondrial DNA what is exclusively passed down mother through child. Okay? But when they're talking this DNA basic garbage, it is a paternity test. And if you can't go get the actual genetic material by digging up the corpse of your grandparents or your great-grandparents or your great-great-grandparents, so when you're on this journey of looking up your family story, you find the historical cemeteries. You find where your people were buried. I'm not advocating exhuming their bodies.
Yeah.
But the only way that you would have any but the only way that you would have any legitimate genetic reference is to have follicles, hair follicles, or marrow, bone marrow, from the corpse. That is the only way that you would have some direct genealogical verification, if you will. But everything else, as you just said, is a paper trail.
Yep. And then even if you do that, what are they comparing it to?
Well, again, they're going to be comparing it to like the Dawes roll, which again is these $5 frauds. That they went lay claim to something. That doesn't prove anything, certainly. And the genetic blood quantum that they're using for the so-called Native American tribes, you see that's being brought under scrutiny. You know, the fact of the matter still remains. All we have to do now, this again, it's just my 2 cents. I believe our ancestors are crying out from the land, from the blood, from the lynching, from the castration, from the rape. They are waiting for us to move forward in this fashion, to look up our story. When we do that, they will call out to us. Just as you've already described how Mother Earth itself is calling out to us with these weather changes, with this drastic response or reaction to this colonizing invasion, because that is all these people have done. They have only invaded. Wherever they have gone, they have committed mayhem. They continue to rape, pillage, and destroy. They know nothing other than that. Then they cover it up by taking some collaborating indigenous co-conspirators and try to justify themselves by putting something down, calling it legal, putting it on paper. Okay? So in parting with this, my sister, as you've already pointed out tonight, when we start doing this on an individual basis, internal to our immediate family, like you like to say, clean up around your own front door, check and clean up your bloodline curse internal to you. You have to do the research. You have to study.
That's right.
But as Dane has been trying very desperately, and we need to be able to reinforce him with more troops, if you will, more young men and women who are motivated in the scholarship, in the research, in the collecting and acquiring of it. And the irony of ironies is, and where we're going to end up on the doorstep, is the Mormon Church. They have gone and have absconded with records worldwide, collecting the information of us without our, what's the word I'm looking with? If you are not in complicity or consent, that by definition is fraud.
Yeah.
And there is no statute of limitations on fraud. We already know murder has no statute of limitation. And calling it a race riot does not take away that it was a massacre. So since we are not compiling the legal arguments, all of which are there, this mountain range of factual evidence that they have and that they know, we just failed to look it up. Out of shame, there's no reason we should be shamed, but we have been forced into being ashamed of what has been done to our ancestors. So, having said that, again, I know I'm just rambling on here, and because to me, in the final analysis, it is identity crisis. This is literally life and death. We are condemning our children, now our grandchildren, and possibly our great-grandchildren to this hell of confusion, which continues to have us like a dog chasing its tail. And that's on us. It ain't on our oppressors.
That's That's
That's
right.
on us. And I yield.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Peace and love. Peace and love. Excellent, excellent drop. I do want to, I went on YouTube and looked up. I want the family to have this information. I'm going to get the book, and we may even be doing a series on it. Nancy Eisenberg. I-S is in Sam. E-N is in Nancy. Berg. B-E-R-G. And the book is literally called White Trash, the 400-year untold history of class in America. I see several videos out there. It looks like she was featured on PBS. And now this part is tripping me out. Even some colleges have used her book. Okay, so there you go for that particular reference. But thank you so much, brother 832. You laid it down as usual. Just real quick, Purple Pill brother, I confirm, brother in the chat room, laying it down. We were talking about. He said native. Minus the T. So if you take the T out of native, that is naive. Okay? So we've been having this conversation with y'all about that term native, and we showed you with the book that we're reading how clearly back in 1865 when it was published, the author knew the difference between indigenous and native. And so Purple Pill goes, native is a French term. That's why no one knows what it means. Native equals naif in French. Naif means born in bondage. So again, folks, spells, words carry frequency that can cast spells. So those running around calling yourselves native, we keep trying to tell you, do your research. Do your research. Know what it means, because what the etymology of what this brother just broke down, Native Americans, you are literally in bondage. You're holding a title that you should not be holding, and you're suffering the consequences from that. So it's your choice. Do your research. Okay, so I'll yield in case Brother Sean or Sis, you want to put something on what Brother 832 threw down. All right. Brother Sean, you there? Okay, y'all awfully silent. Shit, I thought
he was so eloquent, I had to figure out which part we're going to talk about, because he's absolutely correct. First of all, I like to point out that they put down this Native American junk, and they say we don't have it. And like I said last time, we have to be careful that, no, we don't have Native American stuff, period. We are American indigenous people, or American Indian, if you want to use that title. But they use that Native Indian stuff to trick us into thinking that we are not indigenous to this land if they say we don't have it. So anyway, that's one of the things I like to mention, but we have to understand that all of this is a game for them to keep control of the land. And if we keep falling prey to it, and I have to say that our people, and I think this is wonderful, are waking up. I have spoken to 2 melanated females at the store, at the same store no less, that tells me who they are because the universe is speaking to them. It's telling them who they are. And they're saying, man, I wished I had woke up earlier. Because they're like, wow, I didn't know this. So it is changing. The frequency is so different now that people are approaching me with it. And they say, you can tell me. And I'm like, me? Yeah, I can see that you can tell me. And they have this gift that the universe is giving them to discern truth. And so they've been having it in dreams and all kinds of ways that it's being revealed to them who they really are. So this is that awakening that they're afraid of. They are so afraid of that. They want to go to a world war to prevent us from knowing who we are. And that, I think, is really sad. But it's too late because the universe is speaking. The frequency has changed, and they can't stop it.
Nope, can't
so that's
be
all
stopped.
I wanted. Yeah, and I just 832. I really appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Indeed.
I love to hear him speak because he has such wisdom about this situation.
Yes.
And it's really good.
Yes, indeed. Brother Sean, you want to put something on it? I saw where you dropped off. I thought I had opened back up your line.
Hey, sir.
Hey.
Restoration. I understand the concept of restoration, but they can't restore us to what we already are.
Right.
We just have to remember what we are.
What's
they
inherently yours.
Right. They never changed who we were. We started acting other than what we are.
True.
But it's never been in their power to, quote unquote, change us. That's why they have to get us to do it. That's why we have to accept the program.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, we're right on as usual. I mean, he brings it all the time.
Yep. Interesting. I think, Brother Sean, you brought this up before. Purple Pill. And, before I even go to that, I had a troll come in the chat and then posted some bullshit and then logged off. You should have stuck around so you could learn something, but whatever. But Purple Pill, Brother Purple Pill brought this up and asked me to Google missing Native American women. And I know, Brother Sean, you brought this up before, and the first thing that comes up, you see a picture with a melanated indigenous woman, and then on the side you have missing and murdered indigenous that look like the Native Americans. But I'm going to try to go to, you're telling me, wait a minute, Purple Pill, I'll go to the Guardian. Let me see if I can pull up the Guardian article that you're asking me to pull up, if I can find it. It must be is it the Decades of Missing Indigenous Women, a Canadian? Is that the one you're talking about, Purple Pill? Purple Pill is the title of it. Decades of Missing Indigenous Women, a Canadian. Let me pull it up, because I think, Brother Sean, it's the exact one is what you were talking about. Okay, no, Guardian. When did this come out? This was May 31st, so this was recent. So decade. Yeah, Brother Sean, you talked about this. I remember, because you kind of snapped on it. Decades of missing indigenous women, a Canadian genocide leaked report, and now they're showing the Native Americans. So when did Native Americans become indigenous? Okay, now I'm just going based on the little picture y'all put up here, Guardian. That's Justin Trudeau's ass up here, Prime Minister. But anyway, it goes 3 decades of missing and murdered Indigenous women amounts to a Canadian genocide, a leaked landmark government report has concluded. The document titled Reclaiming Power in Place was compiled over more than 2.5 years. Canada's CBC News was given a copy of the report, which is due to be released on Friday. Its contents were confirmed to The Guardian by an individual working within the inquiry. The report by the National Inquiry into Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women and Girls determined that the state actions and inactions rooted in colonialism and colonial ideologies were a key driving force in the disappearing of thousands of indigenous women. Mm-hmm. We know that thousands of indigenous women, girls, and I don't know what the S means, but SLGBTQQI. What the fuck? Damn, they didn't just strung this all out, y'all. Shit, I never would have got this. Two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, and asexual. That's too motherfucking much, y'all. But anyway, people have been lost to the Canadian genocide to date, said the report. While the number of indigenous women who have gone missing is estimated to exceed 4,000, the report admits that no firm numbers can be established. For years, activists and indigenous people have pushed for a government inquiry into the high number of indigenous women who have either gone missing or been killed. The previous conservative government rejected the idea of an inquiry, but Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Liberals, ran on the campaign promise of directing state efforts to determine the scope and extent of the disappearances. There are 230 recommendations in the report, according to the CBC. The report's author admits that it is difficult to fashion a universally accepted definition of genocide. Instead, the report relies on the work by legal experts and indigenous scholars to draw the conclusion of genocide within the country. Genocide is a sum of social practices, assumptions, and actions detailed with this report, said the report. The National Inquiry's findings support characterizing these acts, including violence against the indigenous women's, girls, and the gay and lesbian community, because I'm not going to read all of those elemental P's, y'all, as genocide. This is not the first time a government report has invoked accusations of genocide in the country. In 2015, Senator Murray Sinclair, who led the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, experienced an intense backlash after he called the school policy in which thousands of indigenous children were incarcerated in residential schools cultural genocide, a characterization supported by the former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Beverly McLaughlin. In order to produce the report on the murdered indigenous women, the inquiry held 24 hearings across the country. At least 2,080 people attended, including the family members of those who had been killed or gone missing. Further testimony came from elders, academics, and government officials. The Prime Minister and senior cabinet official, as well as the indigenous leaders and the families of victims, are expected to are expected to attend the release of report on Monday at the Museum of History in Quebec. Okay, so again, that was out of the Guardian, and the title of the article is "Decades of Missing Indigenous Women: A Canadian Genocide Leaked Report." Okay, but they are showing the picture of indigenous as Native Americans. Okay. Okay, Purple Pill, you're gonna have to drop the link because that's the only article that I saw. So if you drop the link, I'll come back to it and read that. Okay. All right. So we have a choice, Sis Sandra and Brother Sean. Did you all want to go into the fallen angel list, or you want to read a little bit more, get back into the book, and then come back to the fallen angels list?
I think you should go into the fallen angel list because that'll probably give a different perspective.
Okay, I was hoping you said that. Okay, so let me bring this up. All right, so this source I pulled because, Brother Sean, I never did get your link. Go figure that. But it was off of angelicpedia.com, and it's literally list of fallen angels. So they're saying that the following list of fallen angel names gather from different religions, mythologies, and lore. These angel names are of those angels considered to be bad nature and not names of good angels. Fallen angel names find their root within ancient cultures such as Babylon, Assyria, and Egypt, as well as within Jewish, Christian, and Muslim lore. Over thousands of years, angel names have evolved in spelling, meaning, and use within religions, mysticism, even magic, where the names of an angel is thought important in order to invoke angelic help. Some rituals are said to invoke good angels, while other rituals are performed to attempt to invoke fallen angels. Many good angels' names include word, God. I told y'all, let me go back over it. Many good angel names include a suffix word meaning of God, parenthesis El, or Yah, which means Lord. This is a primary distinction between higher angels and those who have fallen. The use of El within angelic names portrays the importance of the angel's connection with the divine God. Okay, so I'm going to say again, you got to think on a higher level. Who are you associating with as a divine God? Okay, because there's many gods. But anyway, both the good and fallen names of angels are traditionally and superstitiously believed to be powerful for some people. All right. All right. So again, this is just, we're not trying to steer anyone anyway, invoke anything. This is just purely to show you how these names associate with things today. So Abaddon, fallen angel of death, that name means to destroy. Azabethbul, one-winged Red Sea fallen angel. Alocene, fallen angel who is Duke in hell. Amdusius, name of the fallen angel who appears as a unicorn. Now that one fucked me all the way up. I'm like, what? Even the little unicorn? Damn. Okay. Yeah, that one fucked me all the way up. Okay. Amen. Y'all should know. Okay, isn't that a spin off of Amen? But it's spelled Amon, fallen angel who is a strong marquise over 40 legions. Okay, so that would make sense why that Amen or that Amen still resonates today. This one messed me all the way up too, y'all. Amy, name of fallen angel who is a president in hell. Andres, fallen angel marquise and appears raven-headed. And Drillifus, a fallen angel who can transform humans into birds. And Dramalus, fallen angel who appears as a man holding a serpent. Okay, now I remember seeing those images. Apollon or Apollyon, fallen angel of death, same as Abaddon. Armorous, fallen angel who teaches the resolving of enchantments. Asmodee, fallen angel king with 3 heads, a bull, a ram, and a man. Yep, I've seen that image before. Asmodeus, one of the evilest of the fallen angels, being an archdemon. Astaroth, fallen angel who is Grand Duke in hell. Well, damn. Aziel, evil fallen angel who cohabited with women. I told y'all about the motherfucking L's. Now I'm finna sip some water on this one. Told y'all about using the motherfucking titles. Them L's. Alright. Azazel. Y'all should know Azazel. Fallen angel who names mean the strong. And I think in the book of Enoch, Azazel was listed as one of the leaders, one of the lead angels that had some of the Agigi under him. Okay. As a fallen angel who names means the strong. Baal or Baal, Baal. I know y'all know that name. Fallen angel whose name means the Lord. And supposedly and allegedly, a lot of the quote folks that are calling themselves elite worship that particular entity. Balaam, fallen angel who looks like Asmodee with a serpent tail. Yep, seen that image before. Balbereth, fallen angel who is a grand pontiff in hell. Damn, this the one. I think you said this, or was this me that said it? Either you or I said it, Sean. Shit, I can't remember. It's spelled like Barak, but it's with a Q. It's Barakjal. I could be pronouncing that wrong. Fallen angel who teaches astrology, but it's spelled Baraquijal. Whew. You talked about this last week, Brother Sean. Barbados. I'm like, get the F out of here, y'all. Spelled Barbatos. Fallen angel who is a great count, earl, and duke of hell. Bashan, pale horse. Hell to the no. Bashan, pale horse, riding fallen angel. Damn. Beelzebub, fallen angel known as the Prince of Demons. Behemoth, fallen angel who is the demon of the deep. That makes sense why that's always associated with water. Interesting. Beli, fallen angel who is a terrible king over 85 legions. Belial, deceptively beautiful fallen angel whose name means without worth. Well, damn. You look good, but you don't have no worth? Interesting. Belfhagar, fallen angel whose name means Lord of Openings. Berith, they just said fallen angel. Burniel, fallen angel of darkness and evil. Bifron, fallen angel that appears monstrous, and teaches mathematical arts. Botis, fallen angel, appears as a viper. Bure. Now, we see a lot of people with this suffix in their last name. And some people would even say bear. Buer. Fallen angel who teaches philosophy, logic, and ethics. Bernie, fallen angel who appears as a dragon with 3 heads. Oh, that's interesting. Ooh, yeah. Shut the front door. Cain. I thought of Cain when I immediately saw this. It's spelled Caim. Fallen angel who appears as a thrust or man with a sword. Dantanian, fallen angel who appears as a man with many faces. This is the one you talked about with. No, that's not. It's the one that you talked about with Arabia in the name. Did it start with the D, Brother Sean? D. Let me make sure he didn't drop off.
Yeah, it started with a D.
Okay, so that is it. Okay, so I'm looking at it correctly. Okay, so it's the Dec Arabia. I can't make this up, y'all.
Dec Arabia. Yeah.
Dec Arabia. DECARABIA. Chow. Chow. Fallen angel who appears as a star in a pinnacle. Hold on for me, family. Hold on. Okay, I was trying to look at the flags of Arabia. Yeah, the past flags, they had that crescent moon and star on it. Damn. Wow. Okay. Elagor, fallen angel who appears as a good knight with land. The Book of Eli? Because it's spelled ELIGOR. Just saying. Piscos, I could be pronouncing that right. Fallen angel who appears in the shape of a woman. ENEPSIGOS. Floros, fallen angel who appears as a leopard. Focolar, fallen angel who appears as a man with griffin wings. Forcas, fallen angel who teaches logic and ethics. Fornius, fallen angel Marquise, who appears as a sea monster. Oh, interesting. For Kos, fallen angel who appears as a cruel man with a long beard. Fur, fallen angel who appears as a heart with a fiery tail. Gap, fallen angel who appears as a man with bat wings. Gadriel, fallen angel whose name means God is my helper. Gamergen, fallen angel who appears as a small horse. Glacibolus, fallen angel who appears as a winged dog. This is interesting because a lot of these we see in the mythologies, right? Very, very interesting. Gomari, fallen angel who appears as a camel riding woman of beauty. We know we didn't seen that image before. Gaussian, fallen angel who can discern the past, present, or future. Hajinta, fallen angel who appears as a bull with griffin wings. All right, now we should see that, and I can't think of who the movie company has that logo. But anyway, Halpus, fallen angel who appears as a stork. Oh, hell to the no, y'all. Even the damn stork. Okay. Emamaya, fallen angel who governs voyages. Ipos, fallen angel who appears as an angel with a lion's head. Kokabal, fallen angel whose name means star of God. Kunopagus, fallen angel who appears as a seahorse and sinks ships. Lahash, fallen angel who interferes with divine will. Laraji, fallen angel who appears as an archer in green. Now that's interesting. Here shows one that you bring up, sis. Leviathan, fallen angel associated with the deep seas. Lilith, fallen female angel who searches for children to kidnap or kill.
Did you say?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, sis.
You said Behemoth, right?
Let me go back. Behemoth.
It was. I think you said Behemoth. You know that is quoted in the Old Testament as being the enemy of the dragon.
A behemoth. Okay, because behemoth they're saying is fallen angel who is the demon of the deep.
Yeah, a dragon. It's a dragon. No, a dinosaur. A behemoth is a dinosaur. That's what it is. And we're supposed to be the dragons. And the behemoth is the enemy of the dragon.
All right. So we did Lilith. Licteric, fallen angel of the wind.
Did you say Lilith?
Yeah, Lilith is female fallen angel who searches for children to kill or kidnap or kill.
Lilith was Adam's first wife.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah, but it could have just been a name given to her.
Because they didn't like her. She divorced him.
Told him to go on somewhere with that blank. Yeah, so that very well just could have been a name. So let's see where we are. Lucifer.
Oh,
actually a Babylon king whose name means bearer of light. Okay, so those that have been doing their studies should know that Lucifer meant bearer of light. Malpus, fallen angel who appears as a crow. Marbus, fallen angel, who appears as a lion. Marchosis, fallen angel who appears as a she-wolf with griffin wings. Damn, y'all. Now, as I'm reading these off, I want you all to think about company logos. I want you to think about government flags. I want you to think of these universities with their logos and crescents. Think about that, because a lot of these things show up in that, even in them family crests. All right.
Hey, think about cars, the Dodge and all those logos on that. It's everywhere. And we know we're doing that.
Yep. All right. So Mestima, fallen angel who names means hostility. Let's see. Mephistopheles, fallen angel, name means he who loves not the light. Morax, fallen angel who appears as a bull. Nama, fallen angel of prostitution, whose name means pleasing. Nabrius, fallen angel who appears as a crowing cock. Albazoth, fallen angel, female. I don't know if they meant female, who kills newborns and causes stillbirths. And Anoskelis, female fallen angel who lives in caves and perverts men. And it's interesting to see some women fallen angels. Okay, but that would make sense. It makes sense. Arias, fallen angel who appears as a lion with a serpent's tail. Ornias, fallen angel who is annoying and can shapeshift. Oribus, fallen angel who appears as a horse. Ulse, fallen angel who appears as a leopard and is president in hell. Paimon, fallen angel who appears as a crowned man on a camel. Interesting. Penamiel, fallen angel who corrupts mankind through fallen angel who corrupts mankind through writing. Pen, P-E-N. We keep telling you, words are frequency, cast spells. Wars were won by the pen. Paper and pen genocide. So now we see a fallen angel, Penmeal, who corrupts mankind through writing. Yeah, about right. Yeah, that's about right. Farzip, fallen angel of fornication and lust. Okay, we should know this one. Phoenix, fallen angel who appears as a phoenix bird. Procel, fallen angel who can speak of hidden and secret things. Pura, fallen angel of forgetfulness and the conjuring of the dead. Person, fallen angel who appears as a lion-headed man or on a bear. So person, P-U-R-S-O-N. Isn't that close to the pronunciation? Person. Fallen angel who appears as a lion-headed man or bear. Kumiel, fallen angel who was destroyed by God. Okay, which God? I always have to put that out there. Rahab, fallen angel of pride, whose name means violence. And I've seen that somewhere before. R-A-H-A-B, HAB. I can't remember where I've seen that before. Just in regular everyday usage. I think it's Islamic. Seen it somewhere. Okay. Ra'em, fallen angel who appears as a crow. Renobi, fallen angel who is a monster who teaches rhetoric and art. Ruach, headache, fallen angel. Sabnak, fallen angel who appears as a soldier with a lion's head. Okay, so y'all hear all of these mentioning of lions, birds. Go and check them crests. Go check the motherfucking family crest. All right. Sabnak, fallen angel who appears as a soldier with the lion's head. Celios, fallen angel who appears as a soldier on a crocodile. Samuel, evil fallen angel whose names means the blind god. Satan, Christian fallen angel whose name means adversary. Siri, or seer, however you want to say it, I think it's Siri because it's spelled Seere, fallen angel who appears as a man on a winged horse. Semyaza, the fallen angel leader and one of the sons of God. Okay, so I found that one interesting because I've heard of Semyaza, but the fact that one of the sons of God. So Christians, y'all, that's why I keep saying, y'all, representing your gang, you better know what God you're talking about. Okay, because your teachings only said it's one son. Okay, but Semyaza's is just one of the sons. Okay, and that's why we keep telling you all that God is a title. All right. Shak, Sax, or Shayak, fallen angel who appears as a stork, stealer of money. Soulless, fallen angel who appears. Now this makes sense, y'all. Soulless, fallen angel who appears as a raven and teaches astronomy. Okay, so that should make sense. Soulless, solar. Okay, Wraith, fallen angel to some whose number is 666. Interesting. Saitri, fallen angel appears as a man with griffin wings and leopard head. Yuza, fallen angel whose name means strength. Valak, fallen angel who appears as a small boy with wings on a dragon. Valafor, fallen angel who appears as many-head lion. Vapula, fallen angel who is skilled in handicraft, science, and philosophy. Vasigo, fallen angel who discovers all things lost or hidden. Vipart, angel who appears as a mermaid. Let's see, that's interesting. So, according to this, mermaid is bloodline of fallen angels, of a fallen angel. Vile angel who appears as a huge camel. Now, gal, this is the one I was like, shut the front door. Get out of here with this bull mess. Wormwood, angel who brings plagues upon the earth. Zapfin, angel who fires the fires of hell. Zagon, angel who can transform things, looks like a bull with wings. Zepar, angel who makes women love men. Okay, so those are the lists of the fallen angels. So hopefully You can see some connection to some of the derivatives of these names that are used today, and by all means, the symbols of those different things makes me look at it a little differently. And I remember I was telling you all about an ancient map of Africa, and yes, mermaid equals sea maiden. Yes, purple pill. Remember I was telling you all about an ancient map of Africa, and where it showed all of these different species or creatures. And as I was reading through that list of names, now I'm going to have to go back and look at that map, because I think most of those creatures, if not all of them, the description matched that fallen angel list. And on that ancient map of Africa, you had just regular, quote, quote, folks fighting these particular entities. And it was all across the map of Africa. And then you even saw some of the creatures in the sea as well. And then you had creatures underground that looked like they were kind of enslaved to me. So I'm going to go back and look at that map, and I'm willing to bet I'm probably going to be able to match pretty much all of those different creatures with those listed names of the fallen angels. So, okay, I'll yield in case Brother Sean or Sis, you want to put something on it. Oh, damn, he got kicked off again. Sis, you want to put something on it?
Well, you know, the funniest thing is I used to study that stuff, and I had a beautiful list of it. And when I got on the telephone tonight, I told you my computer crashed. My Google Chrome, all that stuff was there. I had it in, I had it in my bookmark, and I can't get it back.
Yeah, because I had mine on my old laptop, but that was kind of my fault because I didn't pull that stuff off of there. But I could have sworn I bookmarked it.
Well, you
Chrome.
lose your bookmark. Yeah, when you bookmark on Chrome, they take it. Oh, it's gone.
Yeah, because I could have sworn I bookmarked mine, and it wasn't there, and it should have been there.
And when you started saying all that stuff, I said, "Oh my God, that's what was gone too." I had a ton of angels and demons. It was angels and demons.
Yeah, I had it too. I had both too. I had the angels and the demons, and it kind of gave the breakdown. Not only who was who, but who was warring with who. Whom.
Right.
Yeah. So they probably shut the site down because that was a few years ago. That information that I ran across. So. Okay, well, hopefully, Brother Sean, let me just text him right quick. We're going to get back into the reading. He got kicked off, so let me see if he wants to come back in. This is the second time he was kicked off tonight.
Well, maybe it's something they don't know. You know?
Yeah, but sometimes that happens. I guess it's his turn. Yes, I was getting slammed.
Yeah, my computer got slammed yesterday, so it's like, okay, I can't do it anymore. I mean, I can't work with you on that because all that stuff is gone.
Yeah, we need to start backing up our stuff. Okay.
I should have copied it on PDF or something.
Yeah, or put it on your put it on get a thumb drive because you can get them for really cheap with gigabytes of data. Okay, so we're gonna we're going to read, and then I'll just have to keep trying to look out for Brother Sean. Or Brother Sean, you can text me and let me know when you're back in the queue, because I'm going to be reading. Okay, so we're Giant City of Bashan. Okay, we left off on page 82. Hold on a second, family. All right, here we go. Went to page 82, it jumped to 99. I'm trying to get there. All right. Come on, thing. Come on. 82. Okay. 7. 81. Okay, I'm going to 82. Okay. It was a sad and solemn scene, a scene of utter and terrible desolation, the result of sin and folly, and yet I turned away from it with much reluctance. I would gladly have seen more of those old cities and penetrated further into that uninhabited plain. A tempting field lay there for the ecclesiastical, antiquarian, and the student of sacred history. But the time was not suitable for such a journey, and other duties summoned me away. Remounting our horses, we rode along the silent streets and passed out the deserted gates into the desolate country. After winding down the steep hillside amid mounds of rubbish, we halted in the center of an ancient cemetery to take a look at Salka. The castle rose high over us on the crest of its conical hill, while the tower walls and terrace houses of the city extended into a serried line down the southern declivity to the plain, where they met the old gardens and vineyards. Everything seemed so complete, so habitable, so lifelike, that once and again I looked and examined as the question rose in my mind: can the city be totally deserted? Yes, it was so. Damn, that's so little, y'all. And he's reading a quote. Slumber is there, but not of rest. Hear her forlorn and weary nest. The famished hawk has found. The wild dog howls at the fall of night. The serpent's rustling coils affright the traveler on his round. So that was a quote that he's putting up there. Okay. All right. We have 8 minutes before we go into overtime, and if Brother Sean don't get in, then I can't bring him back in. All right. So Keroth. We turned westward to Keroth and soon fell into the line of the ancient road, its pavement in many places perfect, though here and there torn up and swept away by mountain torrents. On our right, about 2 mile distance, lay Aeon, a deserted city as large as Salka. Carius, Aeon, Menadara, and many others were visible. Some in quiet green valleys, some perched like forests on the sides and summits of rugged hills. Okay, I just again wanted to make the announcement that we are going into overtime. We have 7 minutes. So Purple Peel, Brother Purple Peel, if you want to continue with us, you're going to have to dial in at 929-477-3858, 929-477-3858. If you're not going to continue with us, Thank you so much, brother. As usual, you dropped a lot of jewels. I truly appreciate you. So we have about 6 minutes before we go into overtime. All right. So it's saying the country through which one route lay was very rocky, but though now desolate, the signs of former industry are there. The loose stones have been gathered into great heaps and little fields formed, and terraces can be traced along every hillside from bottom to top. In 2 hours, we reached Kiriyah and received a cordial welcome from its warlike Druze chief, Ishmael. There we go, y'all, with these L's. I can't make this shit up. Ishmael El Trash. The town is situated in a wide valley at the southern western base of the mountains of Bashan. The ruins are of great extent, covering a space at least as large as Salkai. The houses which remain have the same general appearance as those in other towns. No large public building now exists entire, but there are traces of many, and in the streets and lanes are numerous fragments of columns and other vestiges of ancient grandeur. I copied several Greek inscriptions bearing dates of the 1st and 2nd century in our era. Among the cities in the plain of Moab, upon which judgment is pronounced by Jeremiah, Kerath occurs in connection with Bethkamol and Basra. And here, on the side of the plain, only 5 miles distance from Basra, stands Kiriyah, manifestly an Arabic form of the Hebrew Kerath. Kerath, and interesting, just real quick, remember when we read that fallen angel name with the Arabia in it? So think about that. You have a land called Arabia that is the derivative name from a fallen angel, and you even have a language. Okay, so let me again go back to what was that doggone fallen angel's specialty. I think it was with a D. Yes, okay, I should remember this shit. I shouldn't forget it. Decarabia, fallen angel who appears as a star in a pinnacle. Okay, so that whole Arabic scene and that association with that 5-star pinnacle is derivative from the fallen angel's name, but that pinnacle star also represents something else. It really goes different and deeper too, because it also represents like a gateway. So meaning like the sun, for instance, which is that plasmic magnetic energy. So we'll get into that a little bit more when we get into the language show. All right. Okay. So where the hell was I? Okay. Kerath was reckoned one of the strongholds of the plain of Moab. And so it's quoting out of Jeremiah, or referencing Jeremiah. Standing in the midst of widespread rock fields, the passes through which could be easily defended and encircled by massive ramparts, the remains of which are still there. I saw, and every traveler can see, how applicable is Jeremiah's reference and how strong the city must once have been. I could not but remark, too, while wandering through the streets and lanes, that the private houses bear the marks of the most remote antiquity. The few towers and fragments of temples which inscriptions show to have been erected in the first centuries of the Christian era are modern in comparison with the colossal walls and massive stone doors of the private houses. The simplicity of their style, their low roofs, the ponderous blocks and roughly hewn stones with which they are built, the great thickness of the walls, and the heavy slabs which form the ceiling, all point to a period far earlier than the Roman age, and probably even antecedent to the conquest of the country by the Israelites. Okay, so in other words, it was the indigenous peoples of that land stuff. Okay, Moses makes special mention of the strong cities of Bashan and speaks of their high walls and gates. He tells us, too, in the same connection, that Bashan was called the land of the giants, or Raphaim. So he's quoting, referencing Deuteronomy, leading us to conclude that the cities were built by giants. So I'm finna motherfucking read that again, because I don't want y'all to think that I'm making that up. He said, so I'm going to go back up. He said, the great thickness of the walls and the heavy slabs which form the ceilings all points to a period far earlier than the Roman age, and probably even, I'm going to say ancient, or before the conquest of the country by the Israelites. Moses makes special mention of the strong cities of Bashan and speaks of their high walls and gates. He tells us, too, in the same connection, that Bashan was called the land of the giants, or Raphaim, leaving us to conclude that the cities were built by giants. Now, the houses of Keroth and other towns in Bashan appear to be just such dwellings as a race of giants would build. The walls, the roofs, but especially the ponderous gates, doors, and bars are in every way characteristic of a period when architecture was in its infancy, when giants were masons, and when strength and security were the grand requisite. I measured a door in Keroth. It was 9 feet high, 4.5 feet wide, and 10 inches thick. One solid slab of stone. I saw the folding gates of another town in the mountains, still larger and heavier. Time produces little effect on such buildings as these. You better believe it. The heavy stone slabs of the roofs resting on the massive walls make the structure as firm as it built of solid masonry, and the black basalt used in almost as hard as iron. There can scarcely be a doubt, therefore, that these are the very cities erected and inhabited by the Raphaim. I'm not making this up, y'all. The aboriginal occupants of Bashan. And the language of Ritter appears to be true. These buildings remain as eternal witnesses of the conquest of Bashan by Jehovah, or Yahovah if you don't want to pronounce it. that J. Ooh, child. We have thus at Keroth and its sister city some of the most ancient houses of which the world can boast. And in looking at them and wandering among them and passing night after night in them, my mind was led away back to the time, now nearly 4,000 years ago, when the kings of the east warred with the Raphaim and Ashtaroth. Okay, and so he in the next page he shows an artistic drawing of the door, the stone door, and the interior. Okay. Carnium, and with the Emin in the plain of Kirathium. Okay, so he's referring to Genesis when the wars between those different races of giants was jumping off. Some of the houses in which I slept were most probably standing at the period of that invasion. How strange to occupy houses of which giants were the architects and a race of giants the original owners. The temples and the tombs of Upper Egypt are of great interest as the works of one of the most enlightened nations of antiquity. The palaces of Nineveh are still more interesting as the memorials of a great city which lay buried for 2,000 years. But the massive houses of the Keroth scarcely yield an interest to either. They are antiquities of another kind. You better believe they are antiquities of another kind that they wanted hidden from the public. All right. So in size, they cannot vie with the temples of Karnak. In splendor, they do not approach the palaces of Khorassan. Yet they are the memorials of a race of giant warriors that had been extinct for more than 3,000 years, and of which Og, king of Bashan, was one of the last representatives. And they are, I believe, the only specimens in the world of the ordinary private dwelling of remote antiquity. Okay, so let me pause just right there. Sis, did you want to put something on it? I'm going to look up right quick just to remind the family where these places are, because I want y'all to get the clear visual in your head.
You know, I'm just trying to figure out who came first, the chicken or the egg. Because Quadromutra, when David Icke interviewed him, they were there before not the giants, but his people were there before the Anunnaki arrived. So who came first, the chicken or the egg? The giants or the little people? The little people or the giants? See, he has a problem. He's telling the truth because in the Old Testament, they had a war with the giants because the giants were eating the little people. And and they grew.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And they,
go ahead.
As they grew, they kept eating them. And so instead of, they were trying to appease them, I guess when they came, with the giants came, they were trying to appease them with food, and they ran out of food. And then the giants started eating the people.
Okay, so I'm sorry, go ahead.
So he's not really saying who came first, the chicken or the egg. He
and I would agree. I would agree with you on that, but only thing I want to keep putting in there, and I keep putting in there every time you say that, because we cannot lump and categorize all giants as the same.
No, we're not. But we can't forget that the little people were here. So who came first,
right.
the giant?
And I'm not disputing. I cannot answer that. I don't know. I don't know if the little people were always here and the giants came on the scene, or if the little people are a part of some of those giants' bloodline. And just over time, as the vibration on the planet started to change because of these wars and conquests, that the size of the people kept shrinking. Okay, so it could be either one of those possibilities, but I just do want to make clear that we just cannot categorize the one story that the giants were eating people, and that it was all giants, because as we see, there were different species of giants, so i.e. different bloodlines. So I just want to throw that out there as well. So Bashan, I just want to make sure, keep reminding the family, where is Bashan today? That's Syria, family. That's Syria. Okay? Bashan also has association with Jordan, and we knew that based on some of the readings as well. Okay, so Bashan also can be associated with Jordan. Bashan rebuilt many of the towns they had partially destroyed. Okay, so I'm looking at Jordan's flag, and guess what I see on there? That Star Pinnacle. Basra is also associated with part of Syria. They're 67 miles south of Damascus. Okay, so I just want to put that into content again, so family, you can get this visual in your head. Okay, and then I also found it interesting that the author pointed out, that they talk about how there's great interest in Upper Egypt, and all of the palaces and all of that jazz. But he pretty much said, yeah, but what about these ruins over here with these giants' ruins? That's much more a great interest than what they found in Upper Egypt. So, he's pretty much telling you that this is hidden history, or history that they don't want to talk about. Okay. All right, so let's move on. All right, so we talked about Og being the last representative. Okay, the monuments designed by the geniuses and reared by the wealth and imperial Rome are fast motoring. Well, damn, I'm surprised now he's starting to tell the truth. The monuments designed by the genius and reared by the wealth of the imperial Rome are fast motoring to ruin in this land. Temples, palaces, tombs, forests are all shattered or prostrated in the dust. But the simple, massive houses of the Raphaim are in many cases perfect, as it only completed yesterday. So I'm going to reread this shit. So all of this Greek and Roman stuff that they thinking is all that in a bag of motherfucking chips. The monuments designed by the genius and reared by the wealth of the imperial Rome are fast moldering to ruin in this land. Temples, palaces, tombs, fortresses are all shattered or prostrate in the dust. But the simple, massive houses of the Raphaim are in many cases perfect, as if only completed yesterday. It is worthy of note here, as tending to prove the truth of my statements and to illustrate the words of the sacred writers, that the towns of Bashan were considered ancient even in the days of the Roman historian Ammianus Marcellinus, who says regarding this country, fortress and strong castles have been erected by the ancient inhabitants among the retired mountains and forests. Here in the midst of numerous towns are some great cities, such as Basra and Gerasa, encompassed by massive walls. Mr. Graham, the only other traveler since Burckhardt, who traversed eastern Bashan, entirely agrees with me in my conclusion. When we find, he writes, one after another exceedingly picturesque, as we wound up a deep ravine shooting out far overhead from among the tough foliage of the evergreen oak. Our little cavalcade was seen approaching, and ere we reached the brow of the hills, the whole population had come out to meet and welcome us. The sheikh, a noble-looking young Druze, had already sent a man to bring a kid from the nearest flock to make a feast for us. Okay, so again, y'all, kid being associated with a baby goat. You shouldn't be calling your children kids. But anyway, and we saw him bounding away through an opening in the forest. He returned in half an hour with the kid on his shoulder. We assured the hospitable sheikh that it was impossible for us to remain. Our servants were already far away over the plain, and we had a long journey before us. He would listen to no excuses. The feast must be prepared. Boy, they were real hospitable. This is the second time that they went and whipped up some meals for his folks. My lord could not pass by his servant's house without honoring him by eating a morsel of bread and partaking of the kid which is being made ready. The sun is high, the day is long. Rest for a time under my roof, eat and drink, and then pass on in peace. There was so much of the true spirit of patriarchal hospitality here, so much that recall in mind scenes in the life of Abraham. So he's given Genesis as a reference and Manoah. He's given Judges and other scripture celebrities that we found it hard to refuse. Time pressed, however, and we were reluctantly compelled to leave before the kid was served. In the town of Hebron are many objects of interest. The ruins of a beautiful temple built in AD 155 or 155 and of several other public edifices are stern over the summit and rugged sides of the hill. But the simple, massive, primeval houses were to us objects of greater attraction. Many of them are perfect, and in them the modern inhabitants find ample and comfortable accommodation. The stone doors appeared even more massive. Oh, shucky, y'all. Where the hell is he at? Hebron. Damn. So I'm gonna have to look that up just a second. I'm gonna look it up after I read this. Many of them are perfect, and in them
That's
the
in the
modern.
southern part. That's in the
Can you
southern
look
part.
it up? Look it
It
up
says,
for
I
me.
know it.
Okay.
It's in the southern part of Israel.
Okay.
It's in the Hebron Valley. Huh?
Okay, Hebron. I said, suck it now. Okay, so it says
that's where Abraham settled in the Hebron Valley.
Child. Okay, so he's saying many of them are perfect, and in them the modern inhabitants find ample and comfortable accommodation. The stone doors appeared even more massive than those of Kiroth, so it's bigger than Kiroth. And we found the walls of the houses, in some instances, more than 7 feet thick. Oh, damn. Damn, y'all. Can y'all imagine some walls being more than 7 feet thick? Damn.
They have them in Wales, too.
Damn, y'all. Okay, so Hebron must have been one of the most ancient cities of Bashan. The view from it is magnificent. The whole country from Kiroth to Basra and from Basra to Salkai was spread out before me like an embossed map. While away beyond east, south, and west, the panorama stretched to the horizon. 2 miles below me on a projecting ridge lay the deserted town of Atheni, thought by some to be ancient Ashtaroth Carnium. Okay. About 3 miles eastward, the great towers of Sewa, a large town and castle, rose up from the midst of the dense oak forest. About the same distance northward is Curve, another town whose walls still stand, and its stone gates, about 10 feet high, remain in their places. Yet the town is deserted. Truly, one might repeat in every part of Bashan the remarkable words of Isaiah. In the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. We observe in wandering through Hebron, as we had done previously at Kiroth and other cities, that the large buildings, temples, palaces, churches, and mosques are now universally used as folds for sheep and cattle. We saw hundreds of animals in the palaces of Kiroth, and the large buildings of Hebron were so filled with their dung that we could scarcely walk through them. This also was foreseen and foretold by the Hebrew prophets. The defense city shall be desolate and left like a wilderness. There shall the calf feed, and there shall he lie down. The palaces shall be forsaken. The forts and the towers shall be for dens forever. A joy of wild asses, a pasture of flocks. So he's quoting out of Isaiah. And of Moab, Isaiah says, the cities of Ariar are forsaken. They shall be for flocks which shall lie down, and none shall make them afraid. From Hebron, we rode along the mountainside in a northwesterly direction, crossing a Roman road which formerly connected the capital Basra with Curve, Cantara, and other large towns among the mountains. It is now desolate, like all the highways of Bashan, and in places completely covered over with the branches of oak trees and straggling brambles. In an hour, we passed a group of large villages occupied by a few family of Druses. Here, too, we found that the largest houses are now used as stables for camels and folds for sheep. Continuing to descend the terraced but desolate hillsides, crossing several streamlets flowing through picturesque gleams and leaving a number of deserted villages to the right and left, we at length reached Suede, which we had previously visited on our way to Basra. I had now crossed over the southern section of the ridge and had completed my short tour among the mountains of Bashan. It was without feelings of regret that after a visit so brief, I was about to turn away from the interesting region, most probably forever. I felt glad, however, that I had been privileged to visit, even for so brief a period, a country renowned in early history and sacred as one of the first provinces bestowed by God on his ancient people. The freshness and picturesque beauty of the scenery, the extent and grandeur of the ruins, the hearty and repeated welcomes of the people, the truly patriarchal hospitality which I was everywhere entertained, but above all, the convincing, overwhelming testimony afforded at every step to the minute accuracy of the scriptural history and the literal fulfillment of prophecy filled my mind with such feelings of joy and thankfulness as I had never before experienced. Now, I find it interesting that he's so overcome with joy. I can understand him being overcome with joy on the fact that, he's actually seeing the lands that was written in the Bible, in the scriptures. I get that. But I just, again, it astonishes me how people can just gloss over what the true story is, and here he's admitting it to himself that these lands were conquered, taken away from the indigenous people of the land, but you still felt that all of that warring and wiping out races that were indigenous to the land was okay because your leader of your gang, aka your God, told you to do so, promised you something that was not yours and was not his to give to you. So I just really find that interesting, and it just shows you how indoctrination will change the consciousness of a person to the point where they don't even think logically. All right. So, I had observed the statement that a single province of his kingdom, Argob, contained 80 great cities fenced with high walls, gates, and bars, besides unwalled towns a great many. I had examined my map and had found that the whole Bashan is not larger than an ordinary English county. I confess I was astonished, and though my faith in the divine record was not shaken, yet I felt that some strange statistical mystery hung over the passage which required to be cleared up. That one city, nurtured by the commerce of a mighty empire, might grow till her people could be numbered by millions, I could well believe that 2 or even 3 great commercial cities might spring up in favored localities almost side by side. I could believe too. But that 60 walled cities beside unwalled towns, a great many, should exist in a small province at such a remote age far from the sea, with no rivers and little commerce, appeared to be inexplicable. Inexplicable, mysterious, though it appeared, it was true. Okay, so in other words, he's just baffled by the fact that these great walled cities, palaces, let's say, built by the giants, were not close to ports or bodies of water, because the Greek and Roman empires built their cities, provinces off of the ports, okay, because it was all about commerce for them. Okay, so on the spot with my own eyes, I had now verified it. A list of more than 100 ruined cities and villages situated in these mountains alone I had in my hands, and on the spot I had tested it and found it accurate, though not complete. More than 30 of these I had myself visited or passed close by. Many others I had seen in distance. The extent of some of them I measured and have already stated. Of their high antiquity, I could not, after inspecting them, entertain a doubt, and I have explained why. Hence, then, we have a venerable record, more than 3,000 years old, containing incidental descriptions, statements, and statistics, which few men would be inclined to receive on trust, which not a few are now attempting to throw aside as glaring absurdities and gross exaggerations, and yet which close and thorough examination proves to be accurate in the most minute details. Here again are prophecies of ruins and utter desolation pronounced and recorded when this country was in the height of its prosperity, when its vast plains waved with corn, when its hillsides were clothed with vineyards, when its cities and villages resounded with the busy hum of a teeming population. And now, after my survey of Bashan, if I were asked to describe the present state of plains, mountains, towns, and villages, I could not possibly select language more appropriate, more accurate, or more graphic than the language of these very prophecies. My unalterable conviction is that the eye of the omniscient God alone could have foreseen a doom so terrible as that which has fallen on Moab and Bashan. Okay, so I'll pause this in case you want to put something on it, because my voice is giving out, so I think I'm going to wrap up. Sorry, family.
No, I'm good. He was having a good time. I think be honest with you, I think this planet was occupied by a whole lot of folks. If we look at Dr. York and Dr. Blair, yeah, this was like a way station, stop by for all kinds of creatures that came through, and some stayed and some of them left. I think they fought over this place, So
agreed.
So I what he's happy for, I don't know. How we lived and they all died remains, really a mystery to everybody, because I'm sure he's short too. Because if you look,
wait a minute, girl, you a mess. Because the way you said that, like, he's short, and our definitions of short today.
Yeah, he's short too, So how did they remain? Because if you can build something that fantastic, like he's saying, because David was down in South America, Cusco, South America, and he beat giants down there and took over their fortress, and you can see it to this day. Amir, he I can't I always do his name wrong, but I apologize to him.
A seer, you mean?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay,
Amir. Well, you know, the one that, oh, shoot. I have this video here. Let me get his name off of it. But he has done such a wonderful job in the story he did about South America and how the Aztecs and the Mayans and all that kind of stuff. And they have, I mean, tourists go there to this day, and unfortunately we haven't done that. And the I think it's the Hittites, I'm not sure. The place was huge, absolutely huge, not even made by human hands. I mean, not little folks' hands, let me put it like that.
Right,
the little
right,
folks,
right.
When the little, you know, when we were talking about, what did we do? Fall through a rabbit hole or what? Remember that? We were talking about Gulliver's Travels and all this kind of stuff.
Alice in Wonderland, being surrounded by the crackheads.
Yeah. Kumio Ohu. He had a very good thing about that fortress down there that David is said in the scripts. He killed that giant. Was it Goliath and those people? Yeah, he killed them all. And they have this fortress down there, and it's made of stone and marble, stone, or granite or something. And we don't even have the cranes to this day to move that stuff.
Exactly.
So it is just awesome. So who came first?
It's interesting. I think that like you said, it was just a bunch of folks, different species that were here. I am going to go back and pull up that ancient map of Africa and try to match those species with those fallen angels. I'll give y'all an update on that next week. But I think that there are indigenous giants to the planet, and that, you know, we are a part of that bloodline. But as the realm changed, so meaning as them ancient trees were cut down, because you got to think, remember the ancient trees, so it would make sense if the people were bigger, the trees bigger, the grapes bigger, everybody kicking it, blah, 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 boom, boom, this, that, and the third. And then when the wars and the conflicts started happening and the cutting down of the trees and the terraforming of the land, the vibration of the planet started to fall, and then hence the genetic makeup of us started to change as well. Because I always think in my mind the Avatar movie, okay? Because remember, Avatar was really, really big. And then the other folks that weren't indigenous were small to them in comparison, but in order to survive in that realm, they either had to wear the terraform suits, or remember they switched the one dude's spirit into an avatar body so he could inhabit the land. And then the other lady, they was trying to switch her, and she wound up passing on. They didn't do it in time. So that's what I think that went on. And then, you know, as the realm fell, folks got smaller because, you know, we do still have tall people. It's not like we all the way motherfucking short for the most part, because if that's the case, you know, what are the NBA players where what the average height is probably 6'7"? Because I think if you're in the NBA, if you're 6'5", that's getting up on the short side. So it's not like we don't have the height on this planet. It was just a progression of the genes being changed as the vibratorial realm changed. So Very good point, sis. So, did you have any last words for the family? I'm gonna wrap up early, y'all, because my voice is just like.
Well, I mean, we have to, to cipher and discern, what we hear and, whose history is that? Is that man's history in favor of us or what? I mean, what was his motive? But anyway, it's something to think about. Because I've been thinking about it for a few weeks now since you started the series. I'm like,
because it's deep. It really, it makes you go through and think about a lot of things. It really makes you think about a lot of things.
We may be, because Adam, like I told you in that book of Adam, he was at the top of the tree before he fell. So that he was up there with the branches, with the apples and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but
I remember seeing this story. Yeah.
And so when he came out of the cave, he was at the roots of the tree.
And see, that also, sis, could be a metaphor for for genetics. Exactly.
Yes.
So the tree
and
representing
genetics.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
we may have found out species of giants, and we shrunk because of genetic change, right?
Yep. Agreed. So real deep. Sis, thank you so much for being my co-host. Thank you, Brother Sean. Something must have happened with his little phone because he hasn't texted me or emailed me. So sorry you got kicked off, brother. Thank you so much for co-hosting with us. Huh?
Yeah. Stuff is acting up. These computers and phones.
I know. It's a mess. Y'all. So family, back up your material, y'all. Because I had one computer get wiped out already. So make sure you back up your stuff. Thank you to the family for also joining us tonight. Thank you, Purple Peel.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Brother 832, for coming in, dropping some knowledge. We will be back next week. I'll give an update on the fallen angels in that ancient map, and we'll pick back up where we left off. Thank you all very much. Love you very much. And we're going to rock out with some Donny Hathaway. So peace and love, family.
Mm-hmm.